Hey, happy day after election day. I wanted to share some stuff that came up for me around the election. I had a dream. I woke up like three times last night, and one of the times it was to like remember a dream that I had about the election and how Donald Trump had won, and he was celebrating with other dictators around the world. And then there was a bunch of us who protested peacefully, kind of defiantly, and then it caused kind of a riot. And in the riot, I facilitated some healing for Donald Trump with the crowd. And that was very interesting. And then a friend of mine over coffee this morning was asking me, like, legitimately, like, if you could heal Donald Trump or do healing with Donald Trump, what would you do? And at first, I did not understand, because the kind of healing work that I work with in men's work and shadow work, you have to be willing. You can't do the healing for someone else. The person has to do it themselves. You can only like help them or facilitate them and guide them into their own journey of healing. And it's hard. So it's like you can't exercise for someone else, but you can like tell them what to do as a personal trainer. So it's kind of like that. But if Donald Trump were willing to do the work, in this paradigm of personal growth work that I'm talking about, it's about healing shadows or core wounds, which are basically stories, hidden beliefs that we tell ourselves subconsciously. So I'll give you an example of some work I did last night in this group. I have a story from childhood and from religion that it's noble to be poor, right? Jesus was a poor person, and there's this story about easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to get into heaven. So the story as a child that I took on was, don't be a rich man, because then I can go to heaven, right? That's like a very subconscious belief that's acting out in my life in a way that prevents me from having wealth. Because still there's this notion of like a working class hero, or like humility and humble beginnings. So anyway, I'm acting that out, and that's preventing me from having wealth, and being financially stable. And I'm working through that this morning and perpetually, and it's great. So, but it takes me the effort to acknowledge the story that I have. And that's just one. And we all have these stories, and there's a lot of parallels in all of our stories. And so Donald Trump, what's his core wound and story shadow that's driving his actions? And I haven't read Mary Trump's book. I imagine she talks about this in her book. She's a psychologist who's also his niece, I believe. And if I had to guess, it would be that the story that he took on as a child was that he's not enough. He's not worthy of love until he accomplishes XYZ, or unless he has a certain amount of power or money or status, because he seems very status and money and power driven. And as the Beatles say, all you need is love. Like our core need is like validation, acceptance, love. And this is a common thing of like, I'm not worthy until I do X. Like I'm not worthy of love unless I am good, or unless I am getting straight A's, or until I accomplish a certain goal. And so that drives a lot of people's behavior. So if Donald Trump had the core wound of he's not enough until he has certain accomplishments, I would tell Donald Trump that he is enough, and that he's worthy of love regardless of what he accomplishes or how much money he has, and that he has a family that all they want is his love, and all they want is to give him their love, and that's all there is, and all he needs to be worthy of love is to give love and exchange love. And yeah, that seems maybe counterintuitive for someone like Donald Trump to be told that, because it's hard to acknowledge. It's hard to give someone your approval when you disapprove of them, but that's the whole paradigm, is that this is not like a judgment of like he's a good person. This is like he is a person, and people are worthy of love regardless of what they do. And that's really hard to stomach, but that's the truth. And that's how we make the world a better place. So, and that is not to say that achievement it can only be driven by shadows and by shortcomings. So what I'm working with in my own growth is I don't need to do things for money, but purpose is like a sense of love. It's a calling. It's a deeper motivation than money or status. And so for me, my fear of money is that the way that I will get it will be immoral or corrupt. And because I judge that that's how the world works, is how often people make money without a sense of morality or a real purpose besides making money unto itself. And something that my group helped me see and that I'm really internalizing today, like the work, right? I have to do it myself. I can't just be told it. But the work that I'm doing is remembering, and I know this, and it's hard to remember, that I'm acting from a place of purpose and meaning and service and contribution, not self-serving motivation. And that opens up a whole different paradigm from which to act and to be successful. And so if I can remember that, then the other story of like fear about money and good and evil goes away, because this is like a higher plane to operate from. And I operate on that level often, but it's easy to fall off that horse. So today I'm sending a prayer to Donald Trump's heart and letting him know that he is enough, and all he really needs to do at this point is love his family and let his family love him, and he doesn't need to control people and manipulate people and power over people and accrue more power and wealth. That's not going to get him what he wants. What he really wants is to be loved and accepted, and he's probably afraid of the consequences of his actions, but only on the other side of taking responsibility for the impact of his actions can he actually be in a place of love and acceptance. Otherwise, it's just fear. So Donald, I got your back. You call me if you need help, because I'll set you straight, and I'll guide you toward the promised land of utter love and acceptance. And you've done enough. You can rest, and you can heal, and let someone else take a turn, and there's a better place for you on the other side of this whole thing. I hope you can open your heart to the love of your family. Yeah, because it's great. It's going to be great. It's going to be okay. So, likewise for all of you, good luck on your journeys, and stay sane, stay safe. I love you. Goodbye.